Hello viewers, yes, it is another edition of the Big League Soccer, but this edition is going to be a little bit different in the sense that we just had a slew of international matches played midweek. We are going to talk a little bit about those international matches before we go into the league actions which will be happening over the weekend. I have my panel of analysts starting from Julius Ojagbase on my right. Julius, how are you?
I'm okay. It's good to be here again.
I have Babatunde Alao. Baba, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
And lastly but not the least, I have the man, Kayode Ogundare. Kayode, I hope the United and Moyes, how do I call the disease now?
Anyway, they send their greetings.
Yes. The midweek, Tuesday and Wednesday, we had a slew of international matches. France defeated Netherlands 2-0, and we had England defeated Denmark 1-0. A lot of people said that was a very, very boring game, and some English players were even calling that all United players in the English team should be dropped. They shouldn't be taken to the World Cup. Howdy, speaking seriously, what was your impression of that game?
Honestly, given the kind of season United are having now, you would understand why some people say that. But then it's not about the England, it's not about the United players alone. You ask yourself questions, what was Austin thinking when he called and Ashley Cole into the team? Ashley Cole was hardly played
this season, and a whole lot of other players who you could put a question mark on. But then we are talking about England. You don't expect anything from them going into the World Cup.
Great. Holland lost 2-0 to France. And Baba, is that a good signal? Given the fact that the same Dutch team struggled in a 2-2 draw against Japan during the last international window.
I think for now the Dutch team, they are not on top of their game, and I think the Orange Men, just like they struggled, they've been struggling now. And like you have just posited from the Man U angle, I mean their main striker Van Persie has not been having everything.
It's also a United player.
Yeah, so it's not, since has not been roasted, but that's not to rule out the Dutch, because they can still be a threat at the World Cup.
Yes, coming to Africa, Cote d'Ivoire played a commendable 2-2 against Belgium. In fact, they had to come from 2 goals down. They draw by one of their goal scorers. Julius, what does that portend for the Ivorians?
It's a positive result for the Ivorians. The fact that it's the World Cup year, and most of their players have been doing well in Europe as it were. And with such results, preparing towards the World Cup, it will be a booster for them when they go to the World Cup to actually have a good tournament.
Now, taking it further, so still talking about Africa, let's come home now. Nigeria played a goalless draw against Mexico, which means in 5 attempts, the Super Eagles are yet to chalk up a win against the Mexicans. Kayode, what's your general opinion, view of that game?
Good. Honestly, like I've actually discussed that, like we discussed off here before we came on. I said one thing to people. I said in the game we saw, there were a lot of scoring chances that the Super Eagles missed, and one thing that tells me from my own little understanding of analysis is the fact that before you miss chances, you would have created those chances in the first place.
Right.
That shows the team where it was doing something right. Then the problem they had, the approach play, the build-up was okay for me. It's just in the final third that they come short. They lack initiative. They lack inspiration going into the third half, and that calls into question the kind of players we have. We are going to base our scoring hopes on.
Now, fine, Baba, that brings the question. The issue of Ike Uche. I mean, he is easily Nigeria's best forward in Europe now, on current form. We saw the Super Eagles yesterday, who couldn't bury their chances, like Kayode said, but for the heroics of Vincent Anyama and Austin Ejide. Honestly, we could have lost that game. What's your take on the Ike Uche Stephen Keshi saga?
For me, I think I'll be on the side of the player, because when we are talking of getting a player to the World Cup, I think there should be a modality for you to qualify to play for the national team.
Right.
And football-wise, I think Ike Uche has been doing that. He's been the most consistent scorer for Nigeria, for the Nigerian team. And now, okay, the coach said maybe the player has not been disciplined. I mean, it might not be for football reasons. But now it is for the coach to manage, I mean, the players' antics. And the question now is that suppose we had somebody like Balotelli playing, so maybe Keshi would have said he's not a disciplined player. Because, I mean, we all know what Balotelli used to do, and even Maradona, the great Maradona, we know what he used to do during his days. So it's there for the manager to be able to manage the antics of the player in the team. And now, I mean, being the most consistent player, and we have Emenike who has been our top, our lead attacker. The question is, suppose Emenike picks up an injury, so who is going to lead that attack?
Fine, that's a very good question, Julius. Stephen Keshi debuted a couple of young players yesterday. Talk of Ezekiel Imo, the Ochabu, or what's the other guy?
Uchebo.
Uchebo. I mean, what's your impression of these new guys? Do you think they stand a realistic chance of making the final 23 to Brazil, to the World Cup in Brazil?
Well, the one reason why we are friendlies anyway is to test out our players, and we can't just resort to say, okay, we already have a 23 band going to the World Cup. There's always room for us to bring in. So it was a good debut for them. I mean, I saw the game. They were not bad players. They actually gave a good account of themselves. But again, I think I want to talk a little bit about the team we paraded yesterday. Kayode mentioned we
created chances.
I think a little bit different because when I saw that game, and I was a little bit amazed if we actually have a midfield in that game, because the Mexicans, they just ran right all over the pitch. Like you said, if not for the heroes of the goalkeepers. I mean, for me, yesterday I saw two good goalkeepers.
Excellent, fantastic.
They were the block between us and the Mexico yesterday. The midfield was a little bit not there, and the Mexican midfield they running all over the place. We're very lucky not to have been beaten in that game. But I think going forward, I like the fact that right now we are playing this friendly. Right now we're beginning to see the areas that we are really lacking. I think the midfield we really need to look into it, because if you don't get your midfield, definitely chances will not be created. One good one that was created is which Musa had, a one-on-one with the goalkeeper. That was to me, that was a clear one that could have resulted in a goal, but we didn't take that. But the midfield is suffering right now.
Now, I want us to make a statement, to take a stand on Super Eagles going to Brazil, and the stand has to be on Ike Uche. Kayode, in one sentence, should Keshi resolve the Ike issue and take him to the World Cup based on his current form, or should he just forget about him? And that goes for Baba. We know your position already. So Kayode and Julius.
Quickly, let me say this about the game yesterday. The Mexican keeper was voted as the man of the match.
Right.
It showed that he was kept busy by the Nigerian team. Although the Nigerian attackers were all over the place, they didn't coordinate their game at all. So just as an aside, for me, I've always said this, and you know my position. I say the most important person in a team is the coach. Right. If the manager decides he doesn't want Ike Uche, let's respect his decision. Whatever the outcome is now and in the World Cup, we'll sit down.
Kayode, yep. We are not leaving it to Keshi. I'm placing in Keshi's position now. That is the issue. We are not imposing any player on me, but we want to voice our own opinion with our experience. We've had the issues of Romario Bebeto in the past. We've had the issues of a lot of players who had, even Peter Rufai had issues with Clemens Westhoff, and so based on that experience, what do you say if you were Keshi? Will you take IK to the World Cup or not? Based on what we saw yesterday.
Honestly, I won't think twice about it. The guy will be on my World Cup team.
Julius?
Yes, I think based on what
one sentence,
we should take him to the World Cup.
So it's unanimous, because I also believe IK, based on current form, should go to the World Cup. If he has any issues with the coach, I think it should be well managed. This issue should be resolved. Nigeria is not the only country where players have issues with coaches. And looking at the Super Eagles, we played yesterday we couldn't bury any of our chances. Here is a striker who is scoring very well for his club side. I mean, I would want to go to the World Cup without him. I say best of luck to Stephen Keshi, best of luck to Nigeria. But please, on this panel, on this program, we are saying resolve whatever issues you have with IK and take the young man to the World Cup if he maintains his current form. We go to the leagues now. Yes, we'll start with England. And there you have both league matches and FA Cup matches. Man City, they are playing the FA Cup matches, quarter-final against Wigan Athletic, while the big FA Cup match for me in the quarter-final is the one between Arsenal and Everton at the Emirates. Ordinarily, on paper, maybe you want to say Arsenal will take it. But if you remember Everton's last visit to Emirates this season, they nearly slaughtered Arsenal. Arsenal were lucky to, share part of the spoils.
I think they were lucky.
No. On the contrary, Arsenal got a goal.
Yeah, it was against the
run of play,
yes.
And the guy scored, and everybody, it was unanimously decided that okay, it was a fair result. Then I think they had the upper hand in the first game. It doesn't mean on Saturday the same situation will repeat itself. All we're just saying is the first game we are sure we're going to get a good game between the two sides on Saturday.
So your prediction?
Honestly, and I'm being very, very sincere. I think Arsenal will edge it.
Will edge it, Baba.
Like he has said, I think. I mean, if you want to look at it from the angle that Arsenal they lost to Stoke in the league of recent,
and they need to reaction.
They need to react to that game as like Wenger has always saying. So I think any game between Arsenal and Everton is always a derby. So I want to see Arsenal reacting and winning the game.
Okay, Julius.
Definitely, Arsenal will pick the game.
Are you saying that because both of you are Arsenal fans?
Well, I'm coming from the fact that I'm an Arsenal fan, and I'm coming from the fact that, as you have seen every season, throughout this season, each time Arsenal are beaten, they normally come strong in the season.
And they're playing at the Emirates, where they have only lost twice this season. Lost to Aston Villa and then lost to Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Fine. Then again, we have the league, where leaders, Mourinho will call them fake leaders, because he says by the time City plays and win all their games in hand, they will be top of the. Yes, it's true.
Right.
But Chelsea are still currently the leaders. They play Tottenham. That's the biggest derby of the weekend in England. Chelsea at home to Tottenham. Julius, how do you think it's going to go?
Based on current form, I think I will give that to Chelsea. Chelsea should win that. Not minding the antics of the coach. He's always playing down their chances of winning the league. But I think Chelsea should pick that.
And the other big game in the league, in fact, we have two of them, okay, for different reasons. We have Man U playing away to West Brom. West Brom are struggling for survival. United still have very faint hope of making the top four. At this point, if United are going to make the top four, they cannot afford to drop a point from their remaining 11 games. How do you think it's going to go?
Given our pedigree, every game is supposed to be a big game for us. But given the way we've played this season, we find we can't afford to drop points, but we find ourselves dropping those points anyway. So for me, the stakes are higher now as we go into the home stretch.
Right.
And given the body language of the players, I see all them responsible for the current situation of United. Forget whatever the coach is doing or not doing. Right. I see all the players responsible, and I think if they don't raise their game, we may just be lucky.
But if you look at the record books, okay, United in the last 5 visits, they won 4 and drew 1. In fact, the one they drew happened to be Alex Ferguson's last game as manager.
But in the last 38 years, West Brom have never defeated United. They did it this season. So sometimes records are made to be broken.
Yes, the more reason why I think United should react. I mean, the players should be fired up after that home defeat to West Brom. I want to believe they should. And West Brom recently, they've not won a game in almost 8 or 10 games. The new coach anyway has not won a single game, and he has played 7 matches. So does that bode well for United, Baba?
I think this game is for United to lose. I mean, I mean, talking of pedigree, and even if you want to look at the players, forget, I mean, that Man U has been having a bad season. I don't think West Brom too has been doing very well. Fine, they beat United the other time, but now I want to see the players reacting, trying to fight back at least to get something out of the season.
Great.
And I don't think getting into the top 6 is beyond the United. And if Kia is not taken, they might slip into the top 4.
The ninth, yes, and the top 6 is somehow attractive now because with Man City having won the Carling Cup, it means the 5th and the 6th team in the league will go for Europa. Julius, perhaps of bigger importance or bigger consequence is the relegation 6-pointer between Fulham and Cardiff, a match that will hold at the Cardiff City Stadium.
I think yes, it will be a contribution.
Cardiff have been losing scandalously recently, although they lost only 1-0 to Tottenham in their last game.
So that game is actually going to really judge who goes down, because the two of them do not.
They can't lose that game.
Even a draw, I don't think it's
not too good. Anybody who loses that game goes down.
Yes, so it's not favorable. So I think that's the game to watch over the weekend anyway. Saying
relegation scrap.
Yes, knowing that they dare not drop points. So, and the coach, they want to raise to the occasion, and I hope, and I'm sure the players too, they know what is at stake. So it's going to be a cracker. I can't even predict who is going to win that game. That's how it is right now. But it's going to be an interesting one.
Let's quickly fly to Italy, where Juventus are running away with the title. They seem to be running away with the title. 20 points difference now, or is it? Sorry, they are like 11 points ahead of Roma, who are in second place. Juventus host Fiorentina. Baba, what do you think?
I mean, for now, I think the Juventus, they are just cruising. I mean, like we have in that headline, cruise control. And if you have attained such a level of confidence and playing, I think the league is just there waiting for them to be picked.
Perhaps to delight.
I don't see Fiorentina stopping Juve.
Perhaps to delight old ladies are faithful. In the last 5 games, Juventus won 3 and drew 2. So it's always been they are like Fiorentina are like their wives.
Exactly. We can say that again.
Let's quickly move to Germany, where Bayern, for me, have run away with the title. Of course, mathematically they could still be caught, but realistically, 20 points with 11 games to go. The league is as good as done. Bayern are away to Wolfsburg, and they are more or less regular customers because they've won their last 3 games out of 5 in their previous 5 visits to Wolfsburg. Is there a team? Is there a team to stop Bayern in Germany? That's the question.
Honestly, not only in Germany, we are talking about, because they're supposed to be the best team in Europe at the moment. So we are not. I think it's even a travesty of justice. Yes, it's even a travesty of justice that they are playing in the German league. Maybe they are a big fish in a very small pond now. They should probably find a way of playing in Spain or England as a team.
Can we accuse Bayern of financial doping? Because they've sort of bought all the big players of their rivals in Germany.
But I think they took time to get the players in. I mean, and then
do you think it's fair competition?
Nothing stops the other clubs from buying.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Just like in Norwich, we want to buy Lionel Messi.
If they have the funds, let them go ahead.
Honestly, I think there is a fundamental problem with the German Bundesliga.
Okay.
It's fast becoming a one-man team. I mean, if Jürgen Klopp, the coach of the team that had the realistic chance of challenging them, could come out and say Bayern are unstoppable, are uncatchable, that the rest of them just have to scrap for battle for the scraps. What does that tell you, Julius?
But to be honest, I think it's an error in my opinion. Arguably, they have the best players right now, and I think it's an age thing. It not depends what they have as a backup, but right now you can't take it away that they have built what they have built. Not today. It is an over time, kind of recruitment they did, and now they are where they are today. There was once Madrid that was like that in Spain.
In Spain,
They had well, untouchable. So I think it's just an error. You still have to deal with.
I'm talking about Spain. Barcelona are away to Valladolid, where they have won 3 of their last 5 visits, and the Real Madrid are at home to Levante, where they won the last 4 matches at Santiago Bernabeu against the same opponent. Last weekend, Barca sort of made up a little ground on Real Madrid, and Real now lead by a point. So, Cowdy, how do you see this panning out?
Honestly, I'm looking towards the end of the season, and I foresee a photo finish. But my fears are that, unlike in England and other leagues where the goal difference is used to determine who wins in case of a tie in point, in Spain it is the head-to-head directly between the teams.
2 teams, yeah.
And as it's spanning, it's even a 3-team team now. So it's going to be the and as it stands now, Barca, Atletico, and Real are in that order now. So if at the end of the day they all tie, it will be Barca ahead of Atletico.
No, it is Real at top with 1 point.
No, what I mean is at the end of the season, if they all end up having the same points,
right,
Barca will be top, courtesy of their better goal head-to-head with Madrid and Atletico, and Atletico will come second. So it's kind of difficult for Real, but honestly, I'm not a Real fan. I would just want them to win.
Well, I want the best team to win. Okay, I want the best team to win. Yes, we want to end the program by taking a closer look at Bayern Munich. Pep Guardiola, during his first season at Barcelona, won everything. He won 6 trophies that season, and at Bayern now, yes, he lost the first one against Dortmund. That is the Dutch Super Cup. Okay. But Bayern are threatening to sweep all before them, and the Champions League resumes next weekend. Baba, Bayern against Arsenal at the Allianz Arena.
That's a tough one for Arsenal. I mean, they didn't have it. They didn't have very good in the first leg when they lost to.
But like last season, they didn't have it good too. And mind you, the result you got at Allianz Arena last season, if you are able to manage that result this time around, you will take the game to extra time.
I think the pressure on Arsenal this season is more than what happened last season. I mean, this season people expect Arsenal because of their run in the league. Right. I mean, before they were knocked off the top spot by Chelsea and Man City, they expect more. And going to that first leg, you can see that a lot of people are expecting, although Bayern were of course the favourite, but Arsenal went to the game and they were a little bit commanding, and the game was balanced before the red card issue. Had it been, I mean, they were able
Why
to...
do you always complain about red card? Why do you always complain about penalties?
It's the fact of
Why do Arsenal always complain about penalties?
It's the fact of the game. Immediately that red card came in, I mean, the game was lost. And they tried to do the damage control, but unfortunately they considered 2 goals. I think maybe they have considered 1. I think maybe Arsenal will have stand a chance of, I mean, in this second return leg.
Calvin, Man City, they are in the same position exactly as Arsenal, going against Barcelona away. Do you think they can pull the chestnut out of fire?
Seriously, I doubt it. And I will tell you straight away that in the first game, we saw a Man City that, despite the area of talents that they had, they developed cold feet. Right. And that boiled down to the coach.
Right.
He got his tactics wrong on the day. And Barcelona are in the exact position they would have prayed to be going into the second leg.
Do you think the coach hasn't learned from that? Because City, for the first time, played defensively, conservatively against any opposition. It didn't work out. Do you think he wouldn't have learned his lessons?
The thing there is, now, why I say they are in a very difficult position is they're going to the Nou Camp. They need they need to make use of the ball as much as they can. But unfortunately, they are playing against a Barca that will hold possession more than you. So in the process of trying to get the ball off Barca, they're going to commit a whole lot of errors that could actually lead to set pieces, and you know the damage that could do to them. So seriously, I think it's over for them this season.
Well, Julius, what do you say? Especially looking at Barca's fragile defense. do you think City stand any chance?
I think I would toe the line of Kayode.
Okay, fine. You also believe City are out?
It's done, but
I don't believe City are out.
But Aguero is coming back to the game.
I want to say something on the coach Guardiola, as it were.
Right.
You asked the question if he was going to repeat the same thing he did. Now, perhaps before he left Barcelona, there have been an argument that he was a successful coach at Barcelona.
He should go and prove himself elsewhere.
Exactly. So there was this. Mourinho is better. He has gone.
Julius, but his antagonist will still point to you that he inherited a treble winning team.
But Moyes inherited a title.
You can't compare that. Let me say this.
The question in German football last season when it was announced was that how can you improve the best team in the land, and he has shown with results that
that's a coach with pedigree. You can't compare him with.
So it's unfair to him to say he inherited.
That Man United team is a team on the decline.
I know Kayode is angry with Moyes.
No, I am. Seriously,
Julius, go ahead with your point.
You see, the truth is, if you say he inherited a good side, now I can tell you one of the difficult thing to do is to manage success.
That's it.
Particularly, you are not the one that started.
That's a good point.
So if he does not have what it takes, all right. Now we'll be singing a new song, maybe perhaps saying we are
United are singing.
Well, you can say that, but the truth is, the coach has showed I can manage big players. He has gone to Bayern. He's going to I'm seeing him surpassing what the coach that left did.
Most likely.
The way he's going. And I am not surprised. If Guardiola I am saying this personally now, if he comes to an English team, I can guarantee you, that man has what it takes to succeed as a coach.
Well, I'm going to hang this by something I read about Guardiola when he first started as the first team coach of FC Barcelona. People asked how come he was able to harness the talent and manage the ego of players like Ronaldinho, Deco and Co. He said his first day at training, a player came late and he decided to punish everybody. He punished everybody. Thereafter, he now explained to them why. He said if a player made a mistake, the team concedes a goal, not the player. So you have to learn to be your brother's keeper. Togetherness. So if a player is not on training pitch, there is no training. It's not about I am here, then I've escaped the punishment. So you have to be your brother's keeper, and that is the spirit. When you look at Barcelona, when anybody scores, the whole team celebrates. So that is talking about managing success. So if you have that kind of attitude, you are likely to succeed anywhere you go. So the question now is, will Guardiola surpass what the almost impossible feat achieved by Job Heynckes last season or not? Viewers, why not post your comment on this or any of the issues we raised during the discussion? It's been a nice time. Kayode, Baba, and Julius, thank you very much for being part of the show. Viewers, thanks so much for making that time to watch us. See you next week when we come back and review the big league soccer. I'm your regular host, Kozim Elegbede. Ciao.